Good evening, it's Chuck W30N. I'm operating as W30C. Net control of the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. Radio Net meets every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system, operating on 147.12 megahertz. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into the net, and as all radio amateurs are welcome. Like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org, and also on Facebook. The net also operates on Echolink too. Radio Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month, except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blandale Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. We're open as a net for checking of emergency or priority traffic at this time. Okay. Does anybody have any listings of silent keys in a radio amateurs who recently passed away? Okay. Well, I've heard of two. Connie Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee Charlie recently passed away. I think her name is Miskowitz, I believe. She's from Bell Vernon. Passed away last week. I just heard that Jim Quinn, Whiskey 3 Victor Echo X-Ray, a local area broadcaster for many years, has also recently passed away. So with that, we're going to take a standby for remembrance of Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee Charlie and Whiskey 3 Victor Echo X-Ray, W30C. Thank you. This is W306, and they control for the Two Rivers net. Okay, excuse me. I'll be taking some check-ins here in a moment. I'm going to start off with Echolink people, see if there's anybody on Echolink, because they normally when they want to check in with via Echolink, there's a slight delay, and the people at the time they get a chance to press their activation device. So at this time, anybody on Echolink wish to check into the Two Rivers net, call now.
This is Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray. Jeff from Irwin checking in. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, everybody in the net. No messages, no comments.
Alpha 3 Mike Romeo AA3MR. Name is Walt. Echolink, Clarkton Works, Clarkton, PA. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No comments.
I got Alpha 3 Mike Radio on Echolink. Anybody else on Echolink? I got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu X-Ray and Alpha 3 Mike Radio, both on Echolink. Okay, now I'm looking for stations that are members of the board of directors wishing to check in. Call now.
W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob in Elizabeth Township. Evening check, even to the net, no traffic. W3OC, please recognize November 3. Juliet Hotel Bravo. Portable out here in Pleasant Hills, along with Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
They got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango and November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo Portable, and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa also with that group. Anybody else from the board of directors wishing to check in?
Net control. Net Control, recognize Kilo 3, Charlie, Romeo, Oscar, John Baldwin, no comments, no traffic.
Okay, got Kilo 3, Charlie, Radio, Oscar. Anybody else on the board of directors? All right, thank you guys. All right. Let's see. All right, now looking for stations that are operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County.
W3OC Net Control. W3OC Net Control, please copy Kilo Bravo 3, Yankee Romeo Uniform, Eddie here in Linwood, Bell Vernon. And Chuck, I do have a very brief comment for you, Net. Back to Net Control. W3OC is Kilo Bravo 3, Delta Victor Delta, Adolph from Irwin, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck. Everybody on the net. No further comments.
W3OC. W3OC, please check in. Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima. Bruce from South Collinsville, Fayette County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net. No further comments.
W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
3OC. Please check in November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. That's N3TAU Norman Penn. Portable, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy Whiskey 3 Delta Delta Sierra Mike, Irwin, Westmoreland County. No traffic.
Hey, it's W3OC. Here's what I got so far. Excuse me. Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee Radio United with comments. Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta. Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima. Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa. November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform Portable. And Whiskey 3 Delta Delta Sugar. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County for the Two Rivers Net?
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Alpha 3, Foxtrot, Whiskey, Quebec. Jeff in Greensburg. Good evening, everyone.
Control. Kilo Charlie 3, Yankee Romeo Victor. Nick from Menneson, no comment.
W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim in Carnegie.
Okay, it's W3OC. Here's what I got. Kilo Alpha 3 Fox Whiskey, Quebec. Kilo Charlie 3 Yankee Radio Victor. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Okay, anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? Now we'll open up for general check-in. Anyone else that the check-in has done so, call now.
Net Control, please copy Kilo Charlie 3, Sierra Uniform Lima. Paul over here in Pleasant Hills. No comment, no traffic.
Paul, Pleasant Hills, this is Whiskey Alpha 3, IOU. Over to you, Chuck. Gino.
W3OC. Here's Kilo 3 Hotel, India Romeo, Morrill, Elizabeth Township.
W3OC. W3OC. This is KC3 IRG, Ed in McKeesport. Good evening to everyone on the net.
Okay, that time I got this W3OC. This time I got Kilo Charlie 3 Sugar United Lima, excuse me, Whiskey America 3 India Oscar uniform, Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio, and Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf. Anybody else, please? All right. Thank you all for taking the time to check in this evening. We got a bunch of news to announce, which is also part of my list here. Let me take care of this comment. Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee Radio uniform. Eddie, please go with your comment.
W3OC net control check in the group from Kilo Bravo 3 Yankee Romeo uniform. Eddie here in Linwood, Belvern, and Fayette County. I want to send out a special thank you to you, Chuck, for having a moment of silence for my dear beloved wife, Connie. I'm taking it real hard. I want to thank everybody for all your thoughts, your prayers, your sympathies, and for all the cards that I received in the mail from all the different ham radio operators. So God bless each and every one of you, and please continue to keep me in your prayers. That's all I have. W3OC, net control check in the group, Kilo Bravo 3, Yankee Romeo uniform, but stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great, wonderful, pleasant evening. And thank you all. Back to net control.
Okay, Roger, Ready. KB3YRU in the group, this W3OM. Thank you. And we're definitely sorry to hear about Connie's passing. Okay. Let's see what else I got here. Yeah, I guess my mind's kind of jumping around a little bit here. At Two Rivers Club, we have a bunch of activities we do during the course of each month. We have other radio nets that operate during the week. They usually run Monday nights, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, on the various bands. Of course, the Monday night when that's this one. Wednesday night is the Two Rivers ARC GapNet that meets on this repeater system. It's an informal gathering of the club members and anybody else wishes to join us. It's a very informal thing. Usually Steve W3 Sugar Hotel Fox is the host for that. But sometimes we change it off. Sometimes Thursday nights we have the GapNet version of the same thing on the 10-meter band. Starts at 8 p.m. on frequency 28460 kilohertz, upper sideband, of course. And the only time we don't have that is when we have operations night. I'll get into that here in very shortly. And then on Friday nights, we're scheduled for one on 40 meters at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's supposed to be around 7215 kilohertz. I haven't listened to it lately, so I don't have a real update on that. But Mitch W3OIE is normally the host for that. So those are the nets we have. Usually on the second Thursday of each month, I should say, we have a thing called the Operations Night. That starts at 7 p.m. It's at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department's number 184 Social Hall. It's an operation, social gathering where we get on the air using our club call, or you can use your own call if you want. We operate HF, and then a lot of times we have discussions about various technical things. But you're welcome to join us for that. That's on the second Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department. It's located at 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. It's in the suburbs of Elizabeth. Of course, on the second Saturday of each month, with rare exception, we have a thing called the Two Rivers ARC Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That starts at 9:30 a.m. I usually use a local restaurant for that, and it's a social gathering, and anybody could join us. It starts at 9:30. Currently, we're using the Rock Run Inn restaurant, which is located in the Butler's Golf Course, up on what takes the name of that road? Rockwood Road, I think it's called. Also in Elizabeth, PA. It's right off of Route 48. So those are some of the activities we have. course, the next big thing is the Two Rivers Ham Fest. It's coming up, the 53rd Annual Amateur Radio Ham Fest and Computer Show. It's next Sunday, April 6th, 8 a.m. till noon at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, number 184 Social Hall. Location, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. They're going to have directions on mobile check-in here on this repeater system with a PL tone of 131.8 hertz. There's an admission charge, of course. It's going to be indoor-outdoor, so we're going to have flea market this year, something we haven't done in a long time. Main prizes so far, listed so far, is a Gazego G90 HF 20-watt transceiver plus battery or cache, a Yaesu FTM 500D 144 430 megahertz C4FM digital and analog FM transceiver or cache, or Yaesu FTM 70DR dual band digital handheld, that's an HT or cache. Portable generators on the list, and I understand they've recently added a 3D printer to that, and I think there's some other things too. I don't have a complete list of that. I guess some of this stuff won't be announced until the day of the Ham Fest. So it starts on Sunday, April the 6th, 8 a.m. to noon, Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, number 184, 4312 Liberty Way, Elizabeth, PA. We're also going to have amateur radio exam sessions at a location very close to the Ham Fest. They prefer if you would pre-register. If you just want to walk in, you can. Amateur radio exam session available. You can contact Mike Kilo Victor 3 Lima at 412-751-9657. 412-751-9657. You can also email to Kilo Victor 3 Lima at yahoo.com. Kilo Victor 3 Lima at yahoo.com. We'll have food available, of course. Things are coming together quite nicely. If you want to be an exhibitor, you might contact one of the coordinators by phone. John, Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar is the Hamfest chairman. You can reach John at 412-951-1332, 412-951-1332, or his assistant, Bill Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa at 412-260-5699, 412-260-5699. You can also do email to hamfest at trarc.org, hamfest at trarc.org. It's coming together quite nicely, and we're expecting a pretty decent showing of exhibitors and attendees. So hopefully many of you folks can make it. That's next Sunday at the Liberty Borough Volunteer Fire Department, number 184 Social Hall. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I don't think there's anything more I can tell you. So looking forward to seeing many of your lovely faces up there for that. Okay, looking at another activity the Radio Club has planned. The Radio Club is going to be operating amateur radio technician level license exam preparation classes. They're going to start on April the 17th, again at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall. They're going to be held every Thursday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. for 6 weeks. And then on the 7th week will be an exam session that starts at 7 p.m. That will be on Thursday, May the 29th. There's no cost for that. They are asking people to sign up for that so that they know how many books to order, and things like that. Let's see. Registration should be done by email to training@trarc.org, training@trarc.org, or you can contact Jim at 724-518-5251, 724-518-5251. Students under the age of 18 must be accompanied by an adult. They're saying registration will close at 11:59 p.m. on the day of the Ham Fest, April 6th. So it's being offered to the general public as a free community service in becoming an amateur radio operator. That's on April the 17th. Radio Club does participate in all kinds of activities during the course of the year. We do PHUSO party, which we've already done, Winter Field Day, which we did this in January, and of course the ARL Field Day event, which is in June, on the last full weekend in June, at a location out in the field, and you're always welcome to come out there and join us for that. I'm trying to look at the calendar of things coming up here. In April, I've already mentioned. Of course, April starts tonight, so let's see, where's those flyers at? Okay, of course, the Pittsburgh Marathon's coming up on May the 4th. It's a local amateur radio emergency service activity. Bob in November Uniform Through Quebec is looking for operators to help with that. They need approximately 100 amps are needed. If you wish to contact Bob Menti, NU3Q, he's the Allegheny County ARES Emergency Coordinator by telephone at 412-279-9016. 412-279-9016 or 412-736-7385, 412-736-7385, or you can do email to NU3Q at NU3Q.us. That's November Uniform 3 Quebec and November Uniform 3 Quebec.us. And I guess they got a registration on the internet at https://tinyurl.com/marathon-2025. That's coming up on May the 4th. I know he needs a lot of operators for that. North Hills Amateur Radio Club is holding a raffle for a Kenwood THD 75A tri-band Hanko Handy-Talkie that covers 144, 220, and 440. It's an FM and D-Star transceiver. Apparently it's got a lot of good reviews. It's going to include a diamond tri-band antenna and a Kenwood rapid desk charger. Tickets are $10 each, and they're only having 250 tickets available. Their tickets are available at all their club meetings and special events, and available still at Hamfest in the area. One condition of the raffle is a drawing will be held at a club meeting after the last ticket is sold, or at the 2025 holiday party, regardless of the number of tickets sold. Winner does not need to attend. If you want information or on that, you can write to the North Hills Amateur Radio Club. Attention, Kenwood THD 75A Tri-Band HT Raffle, P.O. Box 15333, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. 15237. .org, www.charliefoxarc-hamfest.org. That's on April the 5th. That's the day before the Two Rivers Hamfest, but that's fairly far away. On Sunday, April 27th, locally we have the Tri-State Radio Fest, sponsored by the Pittsburgh Antique Radio Society. That specializes in antique radios and equipment like that. It's an indoor flea market. It's going to be held at the Center Stage Banquet Hall, 1495 Old Broadhead Road, Monaca, PA. It's also located in the Center Square Shopping Mall. Okay, it's W3OC. I'm trying to look through various things here. Breeze Shooters Hamfest is scheduled for Sunday, June the 8th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Butler Farm Showgrounds, 625 Evans City Road, Butler, PA. The same location as the last few years. It's also the site of the 2025 Aero Western Pennsylvania section. It's an indoor and outdoor flea market space available. Email for info. And they've got educational forums. They got a whole bunch of exhibitors listed here. They're going to have amateur radio exam sessions starts at 8:30 in the morning. ARL DXCT card checking and bureau representatives, live demonstrations of the WEARS emergency MMCOM mobile unit, Breeze Shooters Awards presentations, and lots of prizes. www.breezeshooters.org for more information on their Hamfest. The recently released the Skyview Radio Society Swap and Shops is scheduled for Sunday, August the 24th, 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the club grounds near New Kensington, PA. Actual address 2335 Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. Talking will be on their club repeater 146.64. Okay, September 7th is the Butler County Amateur Radio Society, Butler County Radio Amateur Radio Association Swap Fest. That's going to be located at the Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road, Butler, PA. That's on September 7th. FTC radio exam and all kinds of prizes, 50-50 raffles and so forth like that. Uniontown Amateur Radio Club has announced their Hamfest, or they call it the Gap Fest, it's Sunday, August the 9th. Let's see, where's that? Their club grounds, located in Old Pittsburgh Road, just off Northgate Highway / Route 43 Monfayette Expressway. Talking will be on the 147.0 Par 5 repeater system. That's on Saturday, August the 9th. Up this flyer, and anybody's interested in it or not, but it's the Warminster Amateur Radio Club 2020 Live Hamfest and ARL Eastern Pennsylvania Section Convention. That's on May the 4th. May the 4th. The location is the Bucks County Community College, Lower Bucks Campus, 1304 Veterans Highway. It's also Route 143, Route 413, Bristol, PA. That's on Sunday, May the 4th. All flyers I picked up at the Weir's Hamfest on Saturday. Okay. I don't think I've missed anything. Does anybody need any repeats for anything they've heard? This W3OC. Okay, it's W3OZ. In the world of DXing, I guess many folks wondered what all the activity was on the HF bands over the weekend. Well, the CQ Worldwide Worked All Prefix Contest was the big get together over the weekend, and the bands were really hot. A lot of good stuff was on, including up on 10 meters. There was stuff even spotted on 6 meters, even though I didn't actually listen up there myself. But there was quite a lot of stuff on. The ARL bulletin here is dated March of 27, and try to see if they got anything on there. Rodriguez Island, 3 Bravo 9 Delta Japan, is active until April 5th, 160 through 10 meters, sideband CW and FT8. Azerbaijan, 4 Kilo Zero Tango. Oh, no, of course, that was in the CQ Worldwide contest. That just ended. A lot of stuff listed there. Uruguay Special Event Station, Charlie X-Ray 100 IARU. Oh, that ends tomorrow, so that one's just about ending. Okay, it's the Philippines. See what calls. It doesn't say. A large group of operators are active. Oh, here it is. The call sign is 4 India 2 India. 4 India 2 India. It's an IOTA operation, islands on the air, from an island called Itaibayet. I'll spell it. India Tango Boston Alpha Yankee Alpha Tango. It's IOTA number Oceana 093. Oh, that ended today. Oh, okay. I'm giving you stuff that's already out of date. Thailand, HS Hotel Sugar 100 IARU will be operational from April 1st to the 30th to celebrate the centenary of the International Amateur Radio Union activity. They on the HF bands, 2 meters, and various satellites. Okay, Marshall Islands, the Victor 73 Hotel Whiskey is operation by Kilo X-Ray 4 Quebec Delta for the next 2 years, says in his spare time. So there's all kinds of stuff in the ARL bulletin. That's kind of just a rough sampling of some of the stuff. There's all kinds of stuff, good stuff on the ARL bulletin. You can also find it DX News on dxnews.com, among other places. There are other places where this kind of stuff is widely disseminated, if you're interested in the world of DX. If you're not, that's fine too. But it really makes it very interesting to, I know, I will give an example. Yesterday morning, I got up real early myself, about 5 a.m. I just wanted to see if 10 meters was doing anything, and it wasn't. It was still closed. I guess around 7:30 or so, it started to open up, and I could hear stations coming in from the Balkan states, which is in Central Europe, quite loud. And then as the day progressed, they became louder and louder, and that was starting to hear all a good many places in Europe and Central Europe and Northern Europe. Middle East was coming through. I know I heard and worked a station in Egypt and several in Israel. Didn't hear a whole lot out of Africa, but at least not during that particular time. So I encourage you to try to listen for this kind of stuff. I've heard listening sometimes late on 10, you can hear stuff coming in from the Far East, like in Japan, Indonesia, and sometimes even China, and occasionally into Thailand and places like that. Of course, there's big earthquake over there in Myanmar and Thailand. They're all like real close together, so there's a lot of damage over there. I don't know how much it's affecting ham radio operations, but you got to figure it probably has. Okay, with that, I'm going to take a standby and see if anybody needs repeats or anything. I heard this W3S.
(2,474) with the release date of Friday, March 28th, 2025. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. In the Netherlands, amateur radio signals bounce off of Venus and back to Earth. An international team of operators raises awareness of autism spectrum disorder. And Newsline's April Fool's Day correspondent is back with some big news for you. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2,474 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Our top story this week is a first for Radio Telescope in the Netherlands, which succeeded in bouncing amateur radio signals off of Venus, the latest such achievement by scientists around the world. Stephen Kinford, N8WB, brings us this update.
Amateur radio signals that were bounced off Venus from 26 million miles away have returned to Earth, where they were picked up by the Duangelo Radio Telescope, PI-9RD. in the Netherlands, according to news reports on the 25th of March. The achievement, the second of its kind in Europe, means that amateur radio signals covered a distance that is more than 100 times greater than those that are traveled by Earth, or moon-bound signals. Scientists' fascination with using Venus bounce dates back several decades when radar was bounced off the planet from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology here in the United States. Much later, radar from the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico was bounced off Venus, and the signals returned to Earth was picked up by the Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia. The radar trace was used to create imagery of the planet's surface. It was a German observatory that achieved what is considered a first for Europe using amateur radio waves. A team from AMSAT-DL achieved bounce and successful reception 16 years ago at the ground station at the Bochum Observatory, sending a CW signal. Until the D'Angelo Venus bounce, this was the only such achievement to date of its kind. Meanwhile, in the U.S., a California not-for-profit group, the Open Research Institute, has begun a project as well involving Venus-Earth experimentation. ORI asks interested hams to contact them via their website, opensearch.institute. That's opensearch, one word, .institute. This is Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
Smartphone users in the UK could soon be able to connect wirelessly to satellites under a proposal being considered by that nation's regulator, as we learn from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The UK is poised to have the first European telecommunication system that enables standard smartphones to send and receive signals from space. The system, known as direct-to-device technology, connects smartphones wirelessly to satellites. A similar permission was recently authorized in the US by the Federal Communications Commission. The UK regulator, Ofcom, is proposing to allocate radio frequencies for use in the UK, especially for rural and other currently underserved communications network areas, and is inviting comments from the public until the 20th of May. Ofcom believes that this could both facilitate sending text and internet connections during outages, and that access would be allowed to the mobile airwaves for two-way communications between smartphones and satellite operators' networks. If approved, service could begin to roll out later this year. There has already been a promising field test of the technology in January under a trial license issued to Vodafone, who, using a standard smartphone, completed the first satellite video call from a remote part of Wales, currently without standard mobile network coverage. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Autism spectrum disorder is often misunderstood, but an international effort is going on the air starting on April 2nd to change all that. We have those details from Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The call for autism awareness will be heard around the world during the week of April 2nd through to April 8th. Hams will be calling CQ Special Event Autism Awareness Week, encouraging inclusion and awareness of the autism spectrum disorder. This event is being organized for the third year by James Gallo, KB2FMH, who believes the best impact the activation can have is its engagement of other operators in rag-chews or short chats about their experiences with autism. James says that because this is not a contest, the real prize is the experience of meaningful contact and conversation, spreading the word that it's okay to be different. During last year's event, that message traveled far and wide. In the U.S., listen for the call sign W2A. Listen for other stations around the world, including GB2AA, 8A2AAW, S76A, VO1BIG/VE3, and 7A2M. Visit the QRZ.com page for W2A to see which call signs are participating and to learn more about the autism spectrum disorder, which is an often misunderstood diagnosis or may go altogether undiagnosed. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Although the U.S. administration is making cuts to the parent agency of Voice of America and other international news services, The Voice of America Museum in Westchester, Ohio, is assuring visitors that it is not affected by these government decisions. The museum is a standalone, not-for-profit entity that relies on support from the public, not federal funding. The museum's executive director, Jack Dominic, released a statement reassuring concerned hams and other callers that the museum will continue to tell the story of the Voice of America even as the news agency itself goes silent. As always, the museum looks forward to seeing hams from around the world during Hamvention this coming May. Museum hours during Hamvention will be from noon to 9 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's May 15th through to May 17th. And on Sunday, May 18th, from noon to 5 p.m. Admission is $10 at the door. Amateur radio station WC8VOA will be on the air, so bring a copy of your license. In related news, a federal court in the United States has declared that Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty, one of the government-run news services marked for dismantling by the White House, cannot be terminated. The U.S. District Court said that the news service's continued operation, serving listeners overseas, was, quote, in the public interest, end quote. According to a report on the Radio World website, the judge's ruling on March 26th concluded that, quote, irreparable harm, end quote, would result from any shutdown. Many of us are familiar with the twice-a-year ritual of turning the clocks ahead or rolling them back. But how about turning the calendar back, say, 90 years? Andy Morrison, K9 AWM, tells us why some CW ops simply can't wait to do that.
It's time to put away your software-defined rig and enjoy being behind the times, way behind the times. The George Batterson 1935 QSO party will devote 2 weekends in April to rigs that were either manufactured or home-brewed in 1935 or before. CW Ops will be looking to make QSOs on the weekends of April 5th through the 7th and April 12th through the 14th to honor the silent key George Batterson W2GB, who was one of the original founders of the Antique Wireless Association based in upstate New York. The CW Ops are hoping for contacts with as many other 1935-era stations as possible on 160, 80, 40, and 20 meters. And they expect that, like the rigs themselves, the experience will be a classic. This is Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
We remind our listeners that the young hams who live in the continental United States have an opportunity to make news, if they aren't already doing so, by being a recipient of this year's Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger, someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. Do you know someone who might qualify to receive this year's honor? Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. Nominations are now open. We are accepting nominations through May 31st. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the W8ODJ Summit County Aries repeater on 444.550 megahertz in Akron, Ohio, on Thursdays at 8 p.m. local time. An annual religious pilgrimage in India ended with an additional but unintended journey for an 80-year-old widow who was unable to speak. That is, until a group of hams helped her find her way home recently. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, has the story.
The Hindu pilgrimage known as the Gangasagar Mela left an 80-year-old participant lost and alone at the end of the event this past January. She'd become separated from the group she had traveled with from her home state. Unable to speak, she was eventually taken to the local police station where officers assumed she was ill and transported her to the district hospital. That's when another group, an amateur radio organization known as the West Bengal Radio Club, was called in by police to solve the mystery of where she was from. The club's members are widely known for their robust communications network, which has assisted scores of displaced persons over the years. Using amateur radio and other means, the club circulated information about the woman and sent a photograph to amateur radio clubs around the country. Within a few hours, the response came back that the woman was from the state of Uttar Pradesh and had travelled to the annual pilgrimage by train with a group from the district of Baliar. The Hams learned that during the past 2 months, several people from Baliar had returned to West Bengal to look for her, but without success. The Hams provided the missing pieces to the puzzle, and according to Ambrashna Biswa, VU2JFA, secretary of the radio club, the police in her home district have since been directed by the local magistrate to bring her safely home. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2VHF.
Congratulations to John Shelton, VE7TI, who has been inducted into the Canadian Amateur Radio Hall of Fame for 2024. John was a founding member of the Vancouver Emergency Community Telecommunications Organization, where he has also been a director. He has also served as a local emergency coordinator for Radio Amateurs of Canada for Vancouver. Over the years, John has been regional amateur radio representative and local municipal amateur coordinator for the British Columbia Provincial Emergency Program. He is active with the Surrey Emergency Program Amateur Radio Group and the Surrey Amateur Radio Communications, where he serves as director and developer of its course for the Basic Amateur Radio Exam. He is also editor of the club's newsletter, The Communicator. The Hall of Fame honor was also given posthumously to Adam Farson, BA7OJ, who became a silent key in March of 2024. A winner of the Technical Achievement Award at Ham Avention in 2022, Adam's wisdom and expertise was much sought after on a wide range of HF transceivers and amplifiers. The retired telecom engineer was a longtime member of the North Shore Amateur Radio Club. In Fiji, a team of hams has been honoring a friend and fellow D-expeditioner who left a lasting legacy. We hear more from Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
The D-Xer, D-expeditioner, and humanitarian known as Zorro, Juliet Hotel 1 Alpha Juliet Tango, left enduring footprints on the planet where so many entities in Asia and Africa spelled adventure for him on his activities. His legacy reflects his commitment beyond merely calling QRZ from these locales. His many humanitarian works include the establishment of the Foundation for Global Children in 2010. He also gave an endowment to the Index's Humanitarian Aid Fund. Zorro sought to improve the lives of people wherever his travels took him, especially children. When he became a silent key in March of 2022 at the age of 72, his death from cancer left a void that his friends continued to fill in the same spirit with which Zorro lived his life. The Special Event Station 3 Delta 2 Alpha Juliet Tango has been on the air from Fiji since the 16th of March to honour Zorro and will continue through the end of April, with operators using CW, SSB, FT4, FT8 and Barak. 4-page QSL cards will be available after the activation, featuring a collection of photos from Zorro's life, and the statement from him, quote, "I shall go wherever I am needed, and I shall do whatever needs to be done," end quote. 3 years after his passing, Zorro Yasuo Miyazawa continues to be remembered with this memorial activation, even as his other good works carry on as well. For more details, see the QRZ.com page for 3D2AJT. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
In the world of DX, listen for call sign 4K0T on the air from the Kizi Mountains of Azerbaijan on the 29th and the 30th of March. The team will be using single sideband and FT8 on 80 through 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Dave, G4OSY, is using the call sign 8P9EI from Barbados, IOTA number NA021 through to the 6th of April. Dave can be found on CW and single sideband on 40 through 10 meters. QSL to his home call signs. Listen for Alex, K6VHF, who is calling QRZ as K6VHF/HR9 from Roatan Island, IOTA number NA057 in Honduras, from the 30th of March through to the 6th of April. Alex is using mainly the digital modes on 80 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Our final story comes from someone who is possibly Newsline's hardest working correspondent of all, Pierre Pollenmaleg. Pierre works so hard that he only has time for one story a year on April Fool's Day. He's back in time for this year's April 1st exclusive. Remember, you heard this report first on Amateur Radio Newsline. In fact, this is probably the only place you'll hear it. Pierre?
Bonjour, mes amis. Pierre has wonderful news. Those nasty solar storms that are messing with our QSOs are sacre bleu. They have inspired the big changes in the popular award schemes. And now, thanks to these changes, everyone can now compete in the middle of a radio blackout. Do you do the POTA, SOTA, BOTA, IOTA, or any other OTA? Well, you will celebrate this, mes amis. It is time for parks off the air, summits off the air, beaches off the air, islands off the air. Well, you get the idea, yes? The rules, well, you must go to a park. You must climb a summit or go to the beach, and then stay there for as long as you can, even overnight. Do absolutely nothing for hours. Do not even bring your radio, mes amis. You do not even need to be licensed. Oh, this is easy, man, no? Pierre, in fact, he does this every day, and has even won a big trophy for couches off the air and inflatable mattresses off the air, and, I might add, bar stools off the air. Oh, Pierre is a very big winner there. Cordon bleu, you will excuse me now, please. Another competition is about to begin, and Pierre is so very, very thirsty. This is Pierre pulling my leg for Amateur Radio Newsline. Au revoir, mes amis.
Have you sent your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Send your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse, with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT DL, Embarashnag Viswa, VU2JFA, David Behar, K7DB, Dwingelo Observatory, DX World, Jack Dominic, James Gallo, KD2FMH, Ofcom, QRZ.com, the Radio Amateurs of Canada, shortwaveradio.de, space.com, the Wireless Institute of Australia, Yahoo Finance, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operations. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025.
It's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Okay, I don't have any more announcements or anything, not that I can think of. So at this time, we'll take a standby for anybody that would like to get a late check-in with W3OC.
W3OC. K3LL, Cliff in West Newton. Thank you. W3OC. W3OC, please recognize November 3, Alpha Hotel Charlie. Sending a portable Yankee Express. So you can put the nose on the data. Stop it.
So far, I got Kilo 3 Lima Lima and November 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie Portable. Anybody else?
Last station, you're transmitting on the repeater output.
Okay, it's W3OC. Those stations trying to call in, call again, please. Anybody else wishing to check into the Two Rivers net? Thank you all. I'm going to close the net out at this hour. Thank you, everybody who did check in with us this evening, or up on Echolink. Maybe I missed somebody up on Echolink. Just for giggles. Anybody else on Echolink that I didn't that hadn't checked in? Call now. Yes, not. All right. Okay. Thank you all for taking the time to check in with us this evening. I guess we ran a little bit long tonight, but I count 22 check-ins on the list. Hopefully, we'll see many of you folks over at the Two Rivers Hamfest next Sunday, up there at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department on Liberty Way. We'll be using this repeater for travel directions and check-ins and all that kind of good stuff. I hope I can see everybody up there. I count 22 check-ins on the check-in list. With that, we're going to turn the repeater back to general amateur use. This is W3OC, also known as W3ON, closing on that. Good night.